Morning, yellow class. If you did maths first, then you know this already, and if not, then welcome to online learning. I said in the maths PowerPoint that you can pause the video when you want to have a go at some of the work, or if you want to talk something through with an adult at home, or if you want to rewind something because you weren't 100% sure, then make sure you remember to do that as well. One of the benefits of online learning at the moment. Okay, so we're going to do some English now. And for your starter, which suffix do we use to put words into the past tense? So I hope you all said ed, the suffix ed. So remember, the suffix is a letter or group of letters at the end of a word that change the root word's meaning. So I would like you, please, for your starter today, to rewrite these words in the past tense into your book. So we've got jump, climb, laugh, walk, and talk. Have a go at rewriting them. Pause the video while you do that, and we'll go through them in a minute. Okay, so hopefully you've rewritten these words in the past tense now. So you should have jumped, climbed, laughed, walked, and talked. Good job. Okay. So yesterday we read the story of Hansel and Gretel, and we started to look at the features of a story. So we talked about the characters. Who were the characters in our story? We had 5 characters. See if you can remember them. So we had Hansel and Gretel, the stepmother, the father, and the witch. We also talked about the settings. So there were 2 settings in our story. Can you remember what they were? So we had the forest and the gingerbread house. Well done if you remembered them. Then we talked about the events, didn't we? And we discussed that in a story you've got the beginning, the middle, and the end. And in the middle, you need to have a dilemma. And at the end, your dilemma or your problem gets resolved. It all gets fixed and it gets resolved. That's your resolution. Can you remember what the dilemma and the resolution were in our story, Hansel and Gretel? So the dilemma, the problem, was that the wicked witch wanted to eat Hansel and Gretel. No, Hansel. Hansel? It was Hansel. Because they got lost in the woods. They'd been left in the woods. The stepmother had plotted to leave them in the woods and pretend to go and cut some wood with her woodcutter husband, the father. And they'd left them there, and Hansel and Gretel stumbled upon the beautiful gingerbread house, and they thought that the nice old lady was going to look after them, but then she turned into an evil witch, and the witch put Hansel in a cage and decided to fatten him up ready to eat him. And Gretel had to be put to work, didn't she? She was told to do the cooking and the cleaning, and she was not very happy at all. So that was the dilemma. They were captured in the gingerbread house, and they wanted the witch wanted to eat Hansel. So what was the resolution then? How did that all get solved? See if you can tell an adult at home. So the resolution, the Gretel pushed the evil witch into the oven, didn't she? And that was the end of her. Good job if you remember that. Well done. So today we are going to focus on one of the settings in our story, and we're going to focus on the gingerbread house today. So last week we created our own gingerbread baubles, and today we're going to design a gingerbread house ready for the story that we're going to write later in the week. Have a think. What were your 3 favourite adjectives that we used to describe the gingerbread house? Tell an adult at home or write them down in your book. Okay, so my favourite adjectives that we came up with were delicious, delectable, and colourful. These were 3 of the adjectives that we used to describe the gingerbread house. So for your task today, you're going to draw and design your own gingerbread house, just like the house in Hansel and Gretel. So I've drawn one on my whiteboard ready. What do you think I should include in my design? Have a look at the pictures below for some ideas of the sort of things I might have included in my design. See if you can guess what I put on there. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I've drawn a gingerbread house, and it's got some candy canes at the front, some red and blue sweets at the top, some purple sparkly hundreds and thousands on the front door, and some strawberry laces to decorate the roof as well. Okay. So after you've designed your gingerbread house, which you're going to do in a minute, you're also going to label your gingerbread house. So I'm going to have a go at labelling my gingerbread house as an example for you. Okay. So when you're labelling, you need to use those brilliant adjectives that you came up with in our lesson yesterday and in our lesson last week to describe what is on your gingerbread house. So for the candy canes, I'm going to draw my line so I know which part of my picture I'm labelling, and I'm going to write my ruby red candy canes. So I've got some alliteration in there. I'm using my neatest handwriting. I don't know if this will be the right way round for you, but I've labelled it and I've written ruby red candy canes. For the gems at the bottom, I might try and use a simile. What's a simile? Tell an adult at home, what's a simile? So a simile is when you compare something like or as something else. So I might say gumdrops as green as a Christmas tree. Okay. So I've got two labels on there at the moment. I'd like you to have a go at seeing if you can include as many different annotations as you can, as many different labels as you can. So on the PowerPoint, we've got some examples of adjectives and descriptive vocabulary that you could use to describe your gingerbread house, but I'd like you to come up with some of your own as well. Okay. So your must today is to design and create a gingerbread house based on the story Hansel and Gretel. You should understand what a setting is. You could label the gingerbread house with adjectives. You should all be doing that. You might use commas in a list to describe your gingerbread house. Remember, we've also talked about similes and alliteration. Okay. That's going to be the end of the video today. It's a nice short one for you. Please make sure that you draw your gingerbread house first, or if you have got a printer at home, you can print out a template of a gingerbread house. Design your gingerbread house, then label it with as many different descriptive words, adjectives, similes as you can come up with, and then colour it in if you've got colour pencils or felt tips at home. And I'd love to see them, so please feel free to send them in. Take a picture and drop an email in. And if you fancy a challenge, I'd also like you to do the same thing, design the inside of the gingerbread house where your story is going to be set. Okay, good luck. Be creative, I know you are, and I will see you later. Bye.